Hello, everyone, and welcome to this live episode of Langer at the Mic, this Montreal Canadiens edition of Langer at the Mic Live. Montreal Canadiens breaking news. Of course, if you haven't heard already, the Montreal Canadiens have fired head coach Claude Julien as well as assistant coach Kirk Muller, and they have appointed assistant coach Dominique Ducharme as interim head coach, and they have promoted Alexandre Burrows as assistant coach from the AHL, I believe, the Laval Rocket. But look, let's get right into this. Honestly, right now, this needed to happen. Like I've said before, this needed to happen. And Claude Julien was by far my favorite Habs head coach from this millennium since the year 2000, between, Jacques Martin, between Michel Therrien, between Guy Carbonneau. Although I'd say Guy was my second favorite, but yeah, definitely Claude Julien, my favorite Habs head coach, the most respected Habs head coach since 2000. And, he's an awesome human being. And everyone in the media echoed how great of a person he is, And it was also great to see him overcome his health issues from the bubble that forced him to leave the bubble last year in the fall in 2020. But again, the fact that this team this year went from 7-1-2 to 9-5-4, and how bad they looked doing so, and the fact that it happened so quickly, and the fact that they couldn't figure things out when they had an entire week off, and the fact that they had all this negative energy in the room, on the ice, at practice, and the fact that the Habs lost two 8-game losing streaks last year, and also a 5-game losing streak. Look, it couldn't, in a 56-game schedule, it couldn't afford to happen again. So Bergevin had to do this before this season slipped away. And also, again, not to mention the fact that being awful on special teams for years, both on the power play and the penalty kill, again this year, which is what Kirk Muller was directly in charge of, at least the power play. I believe it's Luke Richardson handles the penalty kill. But look, bottom line is I'm excited to see the Canadiens, or I'm excited to see how a new voice will impact the Montreal Canadiens, because maybe okay, fine, the Canadiens weren't as good as they were in their 7-1-2 start. Okay, maybe that level of play is a little bit, tough to maintain over the entire course of the season, unless you're the 2002 Detroit Red Wings or the 76 Montreal Canadiens, right? But they also can't possibly be as bad as they were in these last 8 games, And they also, again, they still added Tyler Toffoli, Josh Anderson, Jake Allen, Joel Edmondson, and Corey Perry to a team that beat Crosby and Malkin and the Pittsburgh Penguins in 4 games in the bubble last year, and were tough to play against the Philadelphia Flyers in the quarterfinals of the bubble last year, right? So honestly, that's the one thing, if anything, that you want this Montreal Canadiens team to be, is tough to play against. Because again, they don't have a Matthews, they don't have a McDavid, they don't have a McKinnon, they don't have that top, at least right now, they don't have that top, Braden Point, Stamkos, whatever. They don't have that top caliber player right now. But again, they're built on depth, they're built on speed, they're built by having good defense and good depth in nets, right? So you'd like them to come at teams with 4 lines and be tough to play against. And they really lost that identity in the last 8 games they played. And I'll be honest, I would have loved to have seen what Joel Bouchard can do here. Obviously, Joel Bouchard is the head coach of the Laval Rocket. And to me, I see a little bit of John Tortorella and Joel Bouchard in a good way, in the fact that he takes no BS. He's honest, and he tells it like it is, but at the same time, he's not a complete a-hole about it, and he demands the best out of his players, without, again, being a complete douche or a-hole about it to his players or the media, right? But again, his position in Laval is still very valuable to help develop the kids with the Laval Rocket, or the prospects in the system with the Laval Rocket. So obviously it's important to stay there, and it's easier to appoint in a pandemic season. It's easier to appoint a coach, an assistant coach who's already with the team, then rather than take someone from outside the team to come in and step in as interim head coach, right? And the other thing also to consider that I guess would have been nice to see is the fact that the last time the Canadiens were in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2014, Gerard Gallant was the assistant on that coaching staff. And obviously Gerard Gallant was the guy who led the Vegas Golden Knights to the Stanley Cup final in their inaugural season, but he doesn't speak French. So obviously, unfortunately, that is not an option. But then again, I am cool with Dominique Ducharme. And it's a good thing that the Canadiens at least have good options when it comes to French-speaking head coaches, which that's a whole other discussion, which I'm not going to get into right now, but it is what it is. And while Ducharme is right now the interim head coach, obviously I'm sure he can keep his job to full-time if he turns things around. Unlike, and I feel like he's more of a likelihood to remain as the head coach going forward, unlike Randy Cunnyworth when he was the interim head coach replacing Jacques Martin in 2011, 2012. But by the way, it was Dominique Ducharme who coached Jonathan Drouin and Nathan McKinnon with Halifax with the Mooseheads and led them to a Memorial Cup in 2013. He also led Team Canada to a silver medal in 2017 and a gold medal in 2018 at the World Juniors before joining the Montreal Canadiens coaching staff as an assistant in 2018. And I just hope that he allows skill players to be skill players because, again, the Canadiens, they have skill in their lineup. They have Kotkaniemi, they have Tatar, obviously Suzuki, Drouin, Anderson, but obviously Drouin and Josh Anderson have been playing really, really well. So same for Tyler Toffoli, Brendan Gallagher, what he brings all the time. But guys like Thomas Tatar and Jesperi Kotkaniemi, they're skilled players that you want to see more from, of course, and that were on a very short leash under Claude Julien. So you want to see, Tatar, who is a perennial 50 to 60 point player, 20 to 25 goal scorer, be able to lead the Canadiens offense like he should, right? Under Dominique Ducharme. And at the same time, you want to see Dominique Ducharme hold his veterans accountable for their poor play. And, to his credit, Phillip Danault has been playing better recently, and he got 2 assists in that game yesterday. But he still has no goals, and he has no business being on the ice in a 3-on-3 overtime for more than just to win a faceoff in the defensive zone and then get off the ice right away at this point with no goals on the season. And again, guys like Danault, like Sherratt, even to some extent Joel Edmondson and Shea Weber and Petrie and guys that underperform, they should be held to the same standard as Tatar and Mete and Kulak and Lehkonen that Claude Julien has singled out and benched for their poor play. So, and of course, you also want to see Alexandre Burrows lead this power play to, be a lot better than it has been, right? So, yeah, look, again, I will miss Claude Julien as a person, but I will not miss him as head coach with how the season has been going and with how the last couple of seasons has been going. And I really hope that Dominique Ducharme can fix this whole issue of negative energy. And I just, again, like I said, it's easier to bring someone to appoint an assistant to head coach than bring someone outside outside the realms of the building from the Laval Rocket to promote him as the head coach in a pandemic year. But that's essentially kind of what they did with Alexandre Burrows, promoting him as an assistant coach from the Laval Rocket, right? But yeah, just look, I really hope that Dominique Ducharme can step in and just, if anything, again, fix this whole issue of negative energy. And just one more thing of note, 2 of the last 4 teams to reach the Stanley Cup final have made coaching changes during that season. So you look at the Blues in 2018-2019, they fired head coach Mike Yeo after they started 7-9-3. They fired him on November 19, and Craig Berube took over, and they finished 45-28-9 and made it all the way to Stanley Cup Finals. And of course, they beat the Bruins in 7 to win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history. Then you look at the Dallas Stars in 2019-2020. They replaced Jim Montgomery with Rick Bowness, right, on December 10. They finished 37-24-8 and went on a magical run to the Stanley Cup Final before losing to the powerhouse Tampa Bay Lightning. So it's good that Marc Bergevin made this move before this season slips away any further. But with that being said, look, Dominique Ducharme and company, they have a tough stretch of games against the Winnipeg Jets this coming Thursday, so tomorrow and Saturday, before a shot at redemption against the Ottawa Senators on home ice the following Tuesday. And that's another thing, just the Habs have to just find a way to be better at home, whatever the problem is. Like, their splits on the road versus at home are just completely out of whack. And like 3-5 at home, and now I think I forget what it is on the road, but at least they still have not won a regulation game. They have not lost a regulation game on the road. But at the Bell Center, they're 3-5, so that has to be fixed. Whatever the problem is, has to be better. And I'm going to end this video by asking you this one question. Does Claude Julien get fired if that Brendan Gallagher goal counts? Because a lot of people were complaining about that call after the game. Again, to me, I was more concerned about the fact that the Canadiens played like a bantam team in the first period, and that Carey Price allowed a one-handed pass to get through him for the game-tying goal by Brady Tkachuk in that third period, than a bad call or a controversial call with 3 seconds left. But again, could that have been one of the best bad things to happen to the Montreal Canadiens this year? I'll leave it at that. And that's all we have for this news breaking video here on Langer at the Mic Live. As usual, give me a big thumbs up on this video if you enjoy my commentary, and subscribe to my channel. Give me a follow on Twitter and or Instagram at Mike Langer. I'll include that in the description below. This has been a news breaking edition, Montreal Canadiens edition here of Langer at the Mic Live. Thank you so much for watching. And as usual, look forward to seeing you again next time.